In an industry plagued with poorly executed death scenes, I was pleasantly surprised by how the mould of mediocrity was not broken by some indie film made on a shoestring budget, but instead one of the biggest blockbusters of the decade: Star Wars: The Force Awakens. In this video essay, I will be analysing why the scene of Han Solo's death delivered powerful emotion so you can apply the same traits to your own work. Firstly, the use of colour is exemplary. Throughout the Star Wars series, colour has played a small role in the background. To give a brief summary, the colour blue represents the positive, life, good, happiness, and the colour red represents the negative, evil, death, tragedy, and so on. One thing that had me positively grinning in the cinema when I first saw the sequence was how Abrams uses these colours to subtly influence the subconscious of the viewer. On the screen now is a crudely drawn graph representing the flow of the scene. At the start is a high sense of dread as Han engages Ren in a conversation. A little further along, Ren confesses his doubts and there is a small glimpse of hope. Then there is a slow build-up of tension until finally Ren kills Han. What impressed me was how the amount of red and blue on the screen at any one time is directly proportional to this graph. For the first part of the conversation, the shots are engulfed in red, the symbol of evil. However, as the dread is relieved and the hope that Kylo is redeemable builds, small specks of blue appear in each of the shots. The red is still very present, but the blue serves to make the audience see a small glimpse of hope. At the very moment where the final rise of tension comes in, the blue light in the sky completely withers away. The symbol of positivity, of life and good, has suddenly died, leaving only the red. As Han is entirely consumed by evil and all elements of good have vanished from the screen, this foreshadows what is about to happen next and builds a very powerful tension. And once Han finally dies, he falls away from the red and into a pit of blue, this meaning how he is leaving the evil of his son behind and falling into the purity of death. Also, at a surface level, Abrams uses some very basic filming techniques. If you grab any shot from this scene, you'll notice that they are all from the same side. This is the 180-degree rule, which really is the bread and butter of good cinematography. If you look at this illustration of where all the characters are standing, you will notice that every shot is taken from the same side of the characters. The reason why is it prevents confusion and allows the viewer to easily decipher where the characters are standing. Also, you will notice how when Han is on screen, he will take up the left side, and how when Kylo is on screen, he takes up the right. This is a common technique used throughout the industry. Even in scenes where the characters are in a phone call in two separate locations, you will often find one character is on the left while the other is on the right. This helps to create some stability and again reduce confusion for the viewer. When the audience does not understand where the characters are standing, this will distract them and hinder any emotion you might be trying to convey. At a deeper level, this scene is also masterfully crafted. Throughout the sequence, there is a constant tension building until the final moment of Han's death, where it is relieved. How does Abrams create this tension? Well, it's really rather simple. We completely understand Han as a character. He wants to redeem his son and make him come home, but on the other side, we have very little understanding of Kylo Ren and his motivations. He is very much an enigma. Throughout the movie, Abrams has carefully set up this feeling of unpredictability around Kylo Ren, which finally pays off in this scene.
Forgive me. I feel it again. The pull to the light.
There's still light in him, I know it.
I think the fact we don't know what to expect from Ren is the main reason why this is such a tense scene. Also, another rule that makes this a particularly sad death is the strong sense of injustice. An injustice of how Han loves his son and is killed because of that. If Han were an uncaring father, he would not have confronted Kylo and would very much still be alive. In my opinion, every good sad moment in cinema utilises injustice on some scale. In fact, I made another video essay on this very topic called How to Make the Audience Cry. Click the screen now if you'd like to check it out. Too often in film will there be a meaningless death scene that tries to be something more. Towards the end, the writer will kill a character with no prior warning in an attempt to create some kind of emotional catharsis. The Independence Day sequel is a good example of this. The problem is, a catharsis needs to be earned, to be built up to have some form of meaning and poignancy, which is something Independence Day just didn't do. It just kills a character with no prior build-up. It's too late to put this into my How to Make the Audience Cry essay, but I also believe a good death scene requires a certain amount of build-up beforehand to be a powerful one. This is not just so it can create tension, expectations, and then make or break said expectations, but because it also helps to greatly reduce the confusion. What do I mean by reducing confusion? Well, let me re-edit the scene in question to highlight this often overlooked problem.
That's what Snoke wants you to believe. But it's not true. My son is alive.
No. The Supreme Leader is wise.
Snoke is using you for your power. When he gets what he wants, he'll crush you.
As you can see, this re-edit has the same context and characters, yet it is significantly worse than the original. It has less tension, and the payoff is nowhere near as poignant. If this re-edit proves anything, it's that the best and most powerful deaths are the ones we can see coming. That's what is so brilliant about this scene, as the closer we get to Han's death, the more we realise its inevitability. What I love about the final build-up to his death is that there are 45 seconds of silence where the visuals and musical swells carry the tension in its entirety. In fact, one small detail I loved was this part. As you'll notice, the music becomes quieter and quieter until there is none left at all. This lack of music just before the action feels very much like the calm before the storm, which promises something massive is just about to happen. The very moment Kylo's lightsaber stabs Han, the audience immediately knows exactly what's going on and spends zero time asking the question, wait, did he just stab Han Solo? The fact his death is so heavily foreshadowed by subtle details creates a sort of clarity in the moment where no amount of thought goes into deciphering what has just happened, and our total undivided attention is on the emotional impact. I also think that if the scene had no hints of hope whatsoever, it would have been far less powerful. Because Abrams inserts small amounts of hope, it makes the final moment of despair all the more devastating due to the stark contrast. There is no true despair without hope. This, at least in part, is how Abrams creates a powerful scene. Thanks for watching today's video. Today I want to do something a little different. I have two ideas for what I want to make my next video essay on, but instead of making the decision myself, I want to ask you guys what you think. So the first is analysing Quentin Tarantino and how he uses dialogue to create powerful tension in films such as The Hateful Eight. And the second is on Superman and why it is so difficult to make a good film about him. Do let me know which one you would rather see in the comments down below. Whichever one gets the most votes will be the one I make first. Anyway, thanks for watching, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time on The Closer Look.